The story begins with a family that looks perfectly ordinary from the outside. But hidden beneath their farmhouse lies a mysterious black pyramid. Not a tourist attraction, but a secret ritual chamber used for generations. Centuries ago, this family struck a pact with an ancient evil entity. In exchange for wealth and protection, they had to deliver human sacrifices every few years to keep the dark force alive. For a long time, everything ran according to plan. Then one night they returned home to find their pet parrot dead. Alarmed, the husband and wife rushed down into the pyramid and opened a massive stone sarcophagus. Inside lay the same ancient corpse they had been concealing for years. At first it looked undisturbed, but the moment they moved to close the lid, the body shifted. In that instant, they understood they may have woken something that should never have been disturbed. The story then moves to Cairo, Egypt, where we meet Charlie, a foreign journalist who has spent years working there. He has just received a long-awaited promotion and, even better, can now return to America with his family.
You got the job. I knew you'd get it. I knew it. I told you.
The entire household buzzes with excitement over a fresh start back home. What they do not know is that a mysterious old woman living nearby has already set her sights on their young daughter, Katie. Patiently and deliberately, the woman earns the trust of local children with sweets and fruit, then lures Katie into a trap. She secretly feeds the girl fruit laced with poisonous insects, creatures that are not merely venomous, but part of an ancient supernatural ritual, marking Katie for something far darker. Before Charlie can sense the danger, a massive sandstorm tears through the city. Amid the chaos, the old woman abducts Katie and disappears. Despite desperate searching and a police report, the authorities offer little hope. Missing children are common, they say, and rarely found. With nowhere left to turn, Charlie and his wife are forced to accept the devastating possibility that their daughter is gone. 8 years pass. Charlie is now living with his family on a farmhouse in America. 2 more children have come along, and life has slowly settled into something resembling normal. But Katie's memory never fades. Her mother still keeps her room clean, as though waiting for the day her daughter simply walks back through the door. Then, out of nowhere, a phone call arrives from Egypt. Katie has been found alive.
Your daughter, Katie, has been found.
The family weeps with relief and flies there immediately, believing their long nightmare is finally over. They have no idea the girl coming home is no longer the child they lost. The news came from a horrifying plane crash in the desert. A cargo aircraft went down, and when rescue teams reached the wreckage, they found only burned bodies until they noticed something strange sitting among the debris, a black stone coffin without a single crack despite the fall. Archaeologists who opened it were met with a sight that made them freeze. Inside was no dried mummy. There was a living girl wrapped in ancient cloth covered in mysterious symbols, her skin looking completely normal. That girl was Katie. The cult that had taken her had performed a dark ritual and sealed her inside the coffin, binding her with ancient cloths meant to contain the evil power placed within her. She was being smuggled across countries when the crash exposed everything. Everyone had assumed she was dead. She was alive. At the hospital in Cairo, Charlie and his wife could not hold back their tears. But the girl before them was not the Katie they remembered. She sat silently in a wheelchair, barely eating or speaking, with a frightening emptiness in her eyes. Doctors said she was physically healthy, but mentally locked in deep trauma. What she needed most was family and love. Officer Dahlia, leading the investigation, warned Charlie this was not a simple kidnapping. Katie had become a victim of a criminal network that smuggled children alongside ancient artifacts.
It's the perfect human trafficking cover.
The family brought her home to America, overjoyed to have her back. But that joy faded quickly. Katie spent entire days motionless. Any loud noise or unexpected touch sent her into violent shaking that required sedation. And at night, the frail girl in the wheelchair vanished, moving silently through the house at unnatural speed, like a predator stalking its prey. One night, Charlie heard sounds in the kitchen and went downstairs to find Katie eating live scorpions. Her eyes completely changed, behaving like something other than human. The family barely managed to stop her. The next day, her mother and grandmother attempted to clean her up and discovered that her fingernails had hardened to stone. No clipper could cut them. When they gently tugged at one, a thin outer layer began peeling away. Charlie looked closer and found that her entire body was wrapped in a strange, cloth-like layer bearing ancient symbols, as though something inside her was being held captive. He photographed the markings and visited an elderly professor who specialized in ancient languages and forbidden mythology. The moment the professor saw the images, the color drained from his face.
3,000 years before Jesus showed up. Can you translate it?
Those symbols did not belong to any human culture. They were ancient sealing scriptures linked to an evil god, written in a monk language thousands of years old, used only in forbidden temple rituals. The text referred to a terrifying deity whose very name was a source of dread. Fully translating it would take time. While the professor worked, things at the farmhouse grew worse. One night, sitting beside Katie, Charlie noticed she was grinding her teeth in a steady, repeating rhythm. A childhood memory surfaced, a game he and Katie used to play using Morse code. He began writing down the pattern. When he finally decoded it, a single name appeared: Layla. Katie could no longer speak after 8 years of captivity, but she was communicating through Morse code, telling her father she was still in there, still fighting. Charlie immediately contacted Officer Dahlia and asked her to find a girl by that name in Egypt.
She gave me a name.
It's Layla.
The name was extremely common, making the search nearly impossible, but it was the only lead he had. Back in the farmhouse, a new danger was taking shape. Charlie's younger daughter had begun spending her nights outside Katie's room,
Katie?
listening to the strange whispered language drifting through the door. Dark chants that slowly worked their way into the little girl's mind, changing her from cheerful and bright to withdrawn and disturbing. Meanwhile, the professor completed his translation. He told Charlie that everything connected to an entity called Nasamara.
Nasmaranian.
Not an ordinary demon, but one that specialized in entering families and destroying them from within.
It was known as the destroyer of family.
Feeding on suspicion, fear, and hatred. Thousands of years ago, a group of priests had sealed Nasamara away using a powerful ritual. The sealing cloth now wrapped around Katie's body was that very binding. If it was fully removed, Nasamara would be released at full strength, and its energy could spread to everyone in the household. In Egypt, Officer Dahlia followed the lead to an isolated farmhouse near the crash site and discovered a hidden underground pyramid used for human sacrifice over many years. Before she could investigate further, the terrifying old woman appeared. A violent struggle broke out, and Dahlia was forced to shoot her. In the commotion, a young girl came running inside, Ela. Frightened by what she saw, she tried to flee, then stopped at a mound of dirt, dug out an old iron box, and handed Dahlia a hidden videotape. The tape, along with Ela's secret notes, revealed the truth. Ela was the old woman's own daughter. Since childhood, she had watched her mother sacrifice children and had tried in secret to save as many as she could. When her mother found out, she cut out Ela's tongue so she could never speak of it. Back in America, the nightmare had already reached a breaking point. Charlie's mother had been praying constantly, convinced that calling on God would drive the evil out. Instead, her prayers seemed only to enrage the force inside Katie. In a violent outburst, Katie slammed the bedroom door and trapped her grandmother inside. Sacred objects around the room began to levitate, then turned into weapons, attacking the old woman. At the grandmother's funeral, with relatives gathered and grief filling every room, Charlie locked Katie in her room and asked his older son Sebastian to watch over her. But the evil had already spread. His younger daughter Mud began smashing out her own teeth, then walked to the coffin, pried out the dentures resting beside the body, forced them into her mouth, and attacked the funeral guests without warning. At the same time, Katie broke down her door and made her way to the hall, where she began feeding on her grandmother's corpse. The funeral descended into screaming chaos and had to be abandoned entirely. Officer Dahlia arrived from Egypt carrying the videotape. When the family watched it, the full horror of the cult became clear.
80-second Mummification ritual.
For centuries, they had been using young children as vessels for their evil god, binding the transferred power with ancient cloth and sealing the children inside coffins. Katie had been considered the most perfect sacrifice of all. The sealing cloth on her body was now deteriorating, and with it, Nasamara had awakened completely. Katie rose into the air, her eyes turning entirely black. She began attacking everyone in the house. The younger children turned against each other. The entire family fell under a crushing form of mind control, and the home that had once been warm with love became a place of screams and terror. Charlie understood then that destroying Nasamara was impossible. He could not separate the entity from his daughter, so he made the only decision left to him. If someone had to carry this evil, it would be him, not her. A reverse ritual was prepared immediately. Dahlia, badly injured and barely able to speak, began reciting a forbidden chant in the ancient language. The candles around the room ignited. The cloth on Katie's body began to glow. Slowly, the dark energy peeled away from her and moved through the air into Charlie's body. He trembled with the pain of it, but never let go of his daughter's hand. When silence finally fell, Katie's eyes returned to normal. For the first time in 8 years, there was innocence on her face. The younger children calmed. The darkness in the house lifted. The family began to breathe again, but the cost was devastating. Charlie's body was now wrapped in the ancient sealing cloth and locked inside a sealed coffin so that the evil within him could never escape. He was alive, but imprisoned forever, unable to speak. Sometimes a faint grinding sound could be heard from inside, the rhythm of Morse code, just as Katie had once used to reach him. One thing remained. The old woman who had destroyed so many lives had been captured alive, showing no remorse from behind bars, the same madness still burning in her eyes. In the film's final scene, figures dressed as medical staff enter the prison carrying the sealed coffin. The moment the old woman sees it, fear crosses her face for the first time. She knows exactly what is about to happen. The ancient chants begin to echo once more. A new transfer ritual is starting, and the woman who spent her life sacrificing children may be about to carry that darkness herself. Beyond the horror, this film is really a story about obsession, greed, and sacrifice, about the price families pay when they choose power over innocence, and the price one father paid to give his daughter back her life.